Hello and welcome to the second video I'm doing on possible earnings races for the Apollo IE. This is a good earnings race, possibly the best one at Porsche Short Track, and we'll get into profitability and all that stuff later on. I'm using Tilt B controls, sensitivity on 2, all of my assists are off, and I would recommend that. You could have steering assist low is probably okay here. Steering sensitivity, I don't necessarily recommend 2. It's really whatever works for you. I've used everything from 10 all the way down to 0. 2 is my standard setting. Sometimes I go as high as 4 for a Monaco. I go down to 0 for cars like the McLaren MP4X. Check this out. I didn't go off track at all through the bus stop. That's important. I'd recommend trying to do that as much as possible. While you're here, please subscribe, hit the bell, press like. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So, a little bit of hitting the walls here and there. Gonna be careful. I'm gonna show you, we're gonna non-stop watch this till I hit the perpetual point, which is the point of the race that you can go forever if you want to. Yes, you do need to take off-track cuts if you want to run this endlessly. That's why you really wanna stay on track as much as possible. I went off a skosh there. Now, this section right here, you could skip that cut, and this would still be possible. However, you have to slow down to do that, so your earnings per minute, I find, are about the same either way. In fact, I think they could be a bit worse when I've tested it. Also, you get tangled up in traffic more often. You'll see what I mean coming up. Right now, we're at the point of the race that the bots are getting pretty spread out already. I hit the perpetual point pretty early here. And this car, I'll talk a little bit about this. This car is weird off track. It just handles strange. So I had to adapt my racing a little bit. Like, I'm on the brakes a little bit earlier in this car. And it's partially because it seems to accelerate almost more than it says it does. I'm not really sure. It's a weird car. I don't mind weird cars. I kind of like weird cars. By the way, did you see that that wasn't off track? If you're new to pushing the limits at Porsche Test Track, then, well, you got a lot to learn. There are a lot of areas here that aren't off track. Even though they kind of look like they are, they're not, and bots will not drive there. That's part of what makes this such an excellent farming track, is that the bots have to hit the brakes so much for this chicane that's coming up here. That's the quick little right-left that we have here. They're hitting the brakes so much because they're not utilizing the area here. None of that's off track. You would know because my distance would turn red, right? Well, it's not doing it. Just like right there, it didn't do it. You can just make a right-hand turn through the bus stop. That section, well, there's a section called the bus stop. So, one thing, the most important thing about any farming race is what is the earnings per minute? And several people have asked that I always include the R dollars per minute. I will be doing that in this race. And first, I'm just going to show you, like, that cut, that was nice and clean. I find I need to lift off the throttle just a hair when I'm doing these off-track cuts. In fact, that first one I brake a little bit. And this big cut here, I find a quick little lift off and then reapplying helps me not to get so squirrely or so loose or slide around so much. You don't want to slide around a lot because that's what's killing your momentum. And this rate, it's all about momentum. Now look at this. You can really blast with these guys. You can really gain through that first section of quick turns. You saw there my nose stepped out a little bit, but I was able to bring it back. And that's the name of the game. That's why you can't have traction control on. And look at that. Oh, I didn't mean to cut it that much. But that's the bus stop. I love passing in the bus stop. I love getting a little bit rough and tough in the bus stop sometimes. But right now, I'm trying to keep my car clean as long as possible. Once I get it damaged, I tend to get a little bit too reckless. And you'll know that if you've seen my channel before. I kind of get a bit bored sometimes and I start messing around with bots. Oh, that was some pretty interesting accident avoidance. I do find I need to brake a little bit when I'm taking that chicane cut. Another very nice drive through the bus stop there. Didn't go off track at all. There you saw me getting more squirrely because I was trying to keep the throttle down. It just seems unadvisable in this Apollo. In other cars, you can keep the throttle down off track if you have the right trajectory. You just can't do it in this car. Not very often. So much so I'd say it's worth your while not to do it because it's going to go bad more often than it will go good. So you're going to get better earnings if you just do a slight lift. Look at that. That was an awesome overtake through the bus stop. Now here we are. The cars are suddenly really close together. I've obviously hit the perpetual point. And they just keep appearing and appearing and appearing and appearing. And if you count, you would have counted that there were 42 cars I passed before the cars started getting grouped together again. And let's take a close look at this. Ooh, I really lost it there. And then I got on the brakes a little bit. I'm trying to avoid contact as long as possible, because contact will lower our top speed, increase our acceleration, meaning it'll take longer, give us more braking distance and less grip. So all four stats get hurt. Now we're gonna warp ahead. And lap 20. Ooh, boy, clipping that wall again once in a while. Certainly not meaning to. Just trying to keep the limits pushed here. You gotta get on the brakes a little bit earlier coming up that hill, it seems. That was pretty good. Ooh, boy, that's really close to contact without actually having contact. And again, my favorite section here, the bus stop, set up a nice overtake. Beautiful overtake. And I don't think I went off track at all. And check that out. Very nice through that next cut. And now here is where I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to just be patient to get around this guy without getting damaged. Got on the throttle nice and early to catch some draft here. And I stay in it too long. There, that horrible cracking sound. Yeah, my windshield's cracked, which means I just lost on all my stats. And I just kind of lost my concentration a little bit, like that. That was bad. I got a little bit skittish. So let's warp ahead a little bit more. Gone about another 30 kilometers here, and oh no. That was exceptionally violent. I just did not plan that very well. That is definite maximum damage. There are two stages of damage. So that means that if you have a minor crack in your windshield, you've only lost a bit of your speed and all that other stuff. Second stage of damage, you take a bigger hit. And here, I was kind of annoyed, and you can tell that I wasn't really driving properly. You shouldn't be doing that, because sometimes when you hit someone, you go really squirrely, which you might have had happen sometimes. All right, well, we're gonna warp ahead some more to where I'm gonna end this. Now, I've been doing this more so lately. Once I hit 100 kilometers, you're gonna see a quick freeze frame, and that is the exact moment I will call the race as far as establishing my race time. And then I'm gonna make sure I end it right at 100 kilometers. So I'm gonna go give back a little bit of distance. Let's check the damage. You can see I've got a pretty good amount of damage on this thing. I want to get really accurate frame per minute, so I like going exactly to 100 kilometers, and that's how I measure this race, from the green light to the 100 kilometer point. Now remember, the totals I'm going to show you in a little bit here, you can double those with the agent and the manager, and 100% bonus fame day, you could quadruple this fame per minute. If you were to clean up the racing just a little bit, you're at 1,000 fame per minute. That is pretty impressive. I highly recommend this race. Roll the bonus footage. If you would like to learn more about this car and upgrade costs, all that stuff, check the link in the description. Here's some other links you might find interesting. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and race you later.